Ladies and gentlemen, we have gathered in a moment unlike any other. This is not just another day, another hour, or another word. This is a divine appointment, and you are not here by chance. You were drawn, yes, drawn by the hand of the Almighty, for a purpose, for a revelation, and for a preparation that reaches beyond time itself. I speak now to the chosen one, not in the sense of human pride or earthly status, but in the call of destiny. For in every generation, God calls forth a people, a person, an individual to rise, to stand, to shine, not in their own strength, but in the power of the one who called them. June 11, 2025 is not just a date. It is a line drawn in eternity, a marker, a moment prepared by heaven long before you were born. The world may see it as any other day, but those who are chosen, those who are awakened in spirit, will recognize it for what it truly is, a turning point. The winds of heaven are shifting. The ground beneath your feet is not still. God is stirring the hearts of his people, calling them to wake up from the slumber, to shake off the distractions, and to prepare, not in fear, but in faith. The time of complacency is over. The time of hiding is finished. The hour of preparation has come. I do not speak this to inspire hype, but to deliver a message from the throne of the Most High. You are not forgotten. You are not random, you are chosen, and with that calling comes responsibility, sacrifice, and readiness. The enemy will try to distract you, delay you, and deceive you, but if you heed this word, if you prepare your heart, your mind, and your spirit, you will not only meet the moment of June 11. You will become the moment. You will carry the fire of purpose into a world desperate for light. So hear me now. Clear your vision, cleanse your heart, strengthen your hands, get into the secret place. Seek the Lord while he may be found, because the heavens are preparing to move. The trumpet is sounding, the veil is thinning, the harvest is ripening, and those who are chosen must be ready to rise. This is not the end, it is the beginning. And you, chosen one, were born for such a time as this. Prepare for June 11. Heaven is watching, earth is waiting, and your time has come. You were not an accident. You were not a mistake. You were not a product of random chance, nor are you just another face in the crowd. Before the foundations of the world were laid, your name was known in heaven. Before your first breath, before your first thought, before anyone knew who you were, God knew. He saw you, he formed you, and he chose you. There is a reason you're still standing. There is a reason you didn't quit when others gave up. There is a reason you survived what was meant to destroy you. It's because you were chosen for something greater than what's behind you. You were chosen for this hour, not yesterday, not tomorrow, now. You could have been born in any other era, the 1008, hundreds, the 1005, hundreds, the ancient world. But you weren't. You were placed in this generation, this moment, this exact time in history, because this is the hour that needs what God has placed inside you. Do you think it's a coincidence that you're here while the world trembles in confusion, while chaos and fear are increasing, while identity is under attack and truth is being erased? No. You were born into the storm because you carry the calm. You were born into the fight because you carry the fire. You were born into darkness because you were meant to shine. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the one who parted the sea, who shut the mouths of lions, who raised the dead, he called you. Not because you were perfect, not because you were qualified, but because you were willing. You may feel unworthy, you may feel overlooked, but God doesn't choose the obvious. He chooses the obedient. He looked at a shepherd boy named David when no one else did. He called a fearful man named Gideon hiding in a winepress. He took an orphan girl named Esther and raised her up to shift the destiny of a nation. And now he looks at you, yes, you. When others see your flaws, he sees your calling. When others point to your past, he points to your purpose. When the world sees ordinary, God sees chosen. And being chosen does not mean your life will be easy. It means your life will be necessary. It means that what you carry is not meant to stay in you. It's meant to be poured out into a world that desperately needs it. It means you will be fought because what you carry is dangerous to the enemy. Why do you think the attacks on your life have been so fierce? Why has the opposition felt relentless? It's because the enemy knows what you've been trying to forget. You're chosen. And if you ever step fully into that identity, if you ever walk in the fullness of your calling, if you ever realize who you really are, hell won't be able to contain the fire you release. You were chosen for this hour. Not to sit back, but to stand up. Not to blend in, but to break through. Not to doubt yourself, but to believe that what God started in you, He will finish. Look around you. The world is crying out for answers. People are living in fear. Truth is being twisted. Hope is fading. And while many are waiting for someone else to fix it, you've been called to be the answer, the salt, the light, the vessel. You say, "But I'm not ready." Neither was Moses. He said, "I can't speak," but God said, "I will speak through you." You say, "I'm too broken." So was Peter. He denied Jesus 3 times, but when he came back, he was stronger, wiser, bolder, and on that rock, God built His church. You say, "I've failed too many times." So did Paul. He once persecuted the very church he would later help build. God didn't just restore him. He gave him revelation that changed the world. Being chosen doesn't mean you've always gotten it right. It means God has never stopped believing you could. It means the King of Kings saw your weakness and still said, "That one. Yes, that one. I want them." You were chosen to pray when others sleep. You were chosen to lead when others follow. You were chosen to stand when others bow. You were chosen to bring healing to the broken, to speak truth in the chaos, to be a reflection of heaven in the middle of the storm. You carry something the world can't define and hell can't defeat. There is a mantle over your life, a weight of glory that's not light, but it's holy. There's a fire in your bones that may have gone dormant, but it has not gone out. There's a sound in your voice, a purpose in your hands, a mission in your steps. And it's time to awaken it, stir it, fan the flame. You don't have time to waste wondering if you're good enough. You don't have time to keep rehearsing your past. The hour is now. This is your hour. This is the hour for the called to rise, the hour for the chosen to speak, the hour for the hidden ones to step out of the shadows, the hour for the overlooked to become the overcomers. This is the hour for the slingshot to be pulled back, not to retreat, but to launch forward. You may be in the wilderness, but it's only because you're being trained. You may feel isolated, but it's because God is preparing you in private for what He's about to do in public. You may feel like no one sees you, but the one who matters sees everything. He sees the late night prayers. He sees the silent tears. He sees the times you could have quit but didn't, and He's saying, "Well done, but now, rise, it's time." This is not just a word, it's a wake-up call. You've been chosen, you've been prepared, and now you're being activated. Not next year, not someday, now, because this hour has your name written all over it. The world doesn't need more opinions. It needs anointed voices. It needs people who don't just talk about God, but walk with Him. You were born to walk in fire and not be burned, to speak in storms and not be shaken, to love in a world that has forgotten how to love. You are the answer to someone's prayer, the break through someone's waiting for, the warrior someone is watching. You were chosen, and this right now is your hour. Preparation is not optional, it is essential. Purpose does not manifest in the unprepared. The promises of God are true, yes, but they are also timed, and they are released not to the passive, but to the prepared. You can have the calling. You can have the prophecy. You can even have the anointing, but if you do not prepare, you will miss the moment when it arrives. What is purpose without preparation? A loaded weapon without a target. A ship without a compass. a voice with no message. Preparation is what takes your potential and turns it into power. And right now, in this hour, you are not just being called, you are being shaped. God is doing something in the secret, not to entertain you, but to equip you. Do not despise the preparation season. Do not curse the silence. Do not grow weary when no one notices you, because God is not preparing you for attention. He's preparing you for impact. He's not raising you up to impress the world. He's raising you up to shift it, but he cannot use a vessel that is half filled, half healed, half available. So he brings you into the wilderness. He puts you in the cave. He removes the noise. He exposes the idols. He disciplines the flesh not to punish you, but to prepare you, because the weight of your purpose is heavy, and if your foundation is weak, you'll collapse the moment it comes. Look at the pattern of God. Joseph had dreams at 17, but his purpose didn't manifest until years later, after the pit, the prison, and the betrayal. What was God doing in those years? Preparing him, breaking pride, shaping character, building wisdom, teaching him how to manage the blessing before it arrived. Look at David, anointed as king while still a boy, but before the crown came the cave, before the throne came the trials. He learned how to lead sheep before he was trusted to lead men. He learned how to fight lions and bears before he ever faced Goliath. What was God doing? Preparing him, because you can't reign publicly if you haven't submitted privately. And Jesus, yes, even Jesus, spent 30 years in preparation for 3 years of ministry. 30 years of obedience, humility, silence, and submission. And when the hour came, he didn't hesitate. He didn't stutter. He stepped forward, fully ready, fully aligned, fully prepared. The Son of God showed us the model. Purpose must be preceded by preparation. We live in a generation that wants the platform without the process. We want the glory without the grind. We want the blessing without the burden. But God does not microwave greatness. He forges it. He tests it. He refines it like gold in the fire, because what he is building in you is not temporary. It is eternal. The deeper the foundation, the higher the structure. If God is taking you deep right now, deep in discipline, deep in prayer, deep in the secret place, it's because he's planning to build something high through you. Don't rush the season. Don't try to fast forward the fire. Let the process do its work. Preparation means alignment. It means cutting away what doesn't fit where you're going. It means silencing the voices that distract and amplifying the voice of God. It means sacrificing comfort to gain clarity. It means fasting when no one tells you to, praying when no one sees you, studying the word not for performance but for power. Preparation requires discipline. You don't prepare by accident. You prepare on purpose. You say no to distractions. You shut doors that pull you off track. You fix your eyes on the vision, and you grind in the dark when no one is clapping. The applause of men cannot sustain your calling. Only the approval of God can. Preparation is often lonely. It will separate you. It will isolate you. Others will keep moving while you are told to wait. Others will be celebrated while you are hidden. But hear this, God hides those he loves. He conceals what he treasures, and when the time is right, what was once hidden will be revealed, not in weakness, but in power. You were not meant to show up empty, handed when your moment comes. You were meant to be ready. You were meant to have oil in your lamp. Do you remember the parable? The 5 wise virgins and the 5 foolish ones. The foolish had the appearance of readiness, but lacked the preparation. They had the lamp, but no oil. And when the bridegroom came, it was too late to prepare. The door was shut. Do not let your moment arrive and find you unready. June 11, 2025 is not just a day, it is an assignment, a window, a prophetic moment. And if you wait until that day to get serious, you're already too late. The preparation is now, the war room is now, the fasting is now, the repentance is now, the sharpening is now. Because when that day comes, it will not be time to train. It will be time to fight. The enemy is not afraid of the called. He's afraid of the prepared. A soldier with armor is dangerous. A believer who knows who they are, who walks in purity, who has trained their ears to hear the whisper of the Spirit, that kind of person sends tremors through hell. You don't get there by accident. You get there by intention. You get there by obedience in the small things, by saying, Lord, shape me, break me, build me. Do whatever you need to do, but don't let me miss my purpose because I skipped the process. You must be forged in secret to be effective in public. So prepare your heart. Purify your motives. Lay down every weight that slows you. Let go of the voices that feed your ego and surround yourself with those who sharpen your spirit. Get your house in order. Build your altar. Fight for intimacy with God. Because when purpose knocks, you must be found ready. The clock is ticking. The window is approaching and heaven is watching. Not just for the called, but for the prepared. The chosen one doesn't just carry favor. They carry fire, forged in preparation, refined in obedience, strengthened in silence. This is the hour to train, to learn, to study, to pray, to weep before God, to consecrate yourself fully. Not so the world can say, look at you, but so the King can say, well done. Your purpose is not a platform, it's a mission, and only the prepared will fulfill it. There is always a battle before the breakthrough. Always, before the light breaks through the darkness will fight back. Before the door opens, the enemy will stand guard. Before the promise is fulfilled, there will be resistance, confusion, and even pain. But do not mistake the warfare for the absence of God. The battle is not a sign that you're going the wrong way. It's proof that you're getting close. The enemy doesn't fight what doesn't threaten him. He fights the ones who are dangerous. He targets the ones carrying something. If you've been under pressure, under fire, under spiritual assault, it's not because you're weak. It's because you're carrying power. You're approaching the threshold of destiny, and hell is terrified that you'll cross it. Breakthrough is not birthed in comfort. It comes through struggle, through perseverance, through obedience when it hurts. God never promised an easy road. He promised victory through the battle. The Red Sea didn't part until the people walked up to it. Jericho didn't fall until the people marched around it in faith. Goliath didn't fall until David stepped onto the field with nothing but a sling and a word from God. Every miracle in Scripture was preceded by a fight, a moment of tension, a moment when everything looked impossible, and that is where most people give up, not because they weren't called, but because they didn't realize that the battle was a sign. A sign that breakthrough was closer than it looked. The closer you get to the promise, the harder the fight becomes. The pressure increases. The doubt intensifies. The distractions multiply. People walk away. Doors seem to close, but all of that is part of the shaking. It's the storm before the shift. It's the fire that forges the final layer of your faith. You don't get the crown without the cross. You don't get the glory without the groaning. You don't get the open heaven without passing through the raging hell. There is a moment that comes just before break, through when everything in you wants to stop, to sit down, to give in. That's not a sign to retreat. That's a sign to press harder. That's a sign to go deeper in prayer, to fast longer, to worship louder, to stand firmer. Because if you stop there, you miss the very thing you've been praying for. The Israelites wandered in the wilderness for 40 years, but do you realize their greatest warfare came not during the wandering, but right before they crossed into the promised land? Giants, walls. Enemies, that's what stood between them and destiny, not because God had forgotten them, but because He was preparing them to possess what they were promised. You cannot possess what you haven't fought for. And make no mistake, the battle is not just around you, it's within you. The greatest warfare happens in the mind, in the heart. It's the battle between fear and faith, between comfort and calling, between what's easy and what's eternal. The enemy knows he can't take your calling, so he tries to convince you to lay it down, to believe the lie that it's too hard, too late, too far, too broken. But God never called the comfortable, he called the courageous. And courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to stand in the fire anyway. You were made for the battle. You were born for the breakthrough. That's why the fire hasn't destroyed you. It's refined you. That's why the pressure hasn't crushed you. It's been forming the oil. That's why the silence hasn't broken you. It's made you hear him more clearly. God doesn't waste a single tear, not a single wound, not a single long night. Every time you chose to praise when you wanted to panic, you won. Every time you stood firm when the winds tried to blow you down, you advanced. Every time you refused to give up, you gained ground. The enemy may roar, but he cannot stop what God has ordained. The breakthrough was written before the battle ever began, but you must fight through to receive it. God won't do for you what he's given you the power to do yourself. David had to pick up the stones, Joshua had to march, Elijah had to pray, Esther had to speak, Jesus had to carry the cross, and you have to press forward even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. You're not fighting for victory. You're fighting from victory. The outcome has already been secured, but the battle is your bridge to it. You must contend. You must stand on the word, not your emotions. You must keep your eyes on the promise, not the pain, because the greater the battle, the greater the breakthrough. If the enemy has turned up the heat in your life, it's because he knows something is about to break. Heaven is aligning, the appointed time is drawing near, the door is creaking on its hinges, the walls are shaking, and you are on the edge of it. Don't quit in the fire, that's where gold is refined. Don't break in the pressure, that's where diamonds are formed. Don't walk away in the night, that's when your light shines brightest. You are a warrior in the spirit, not timid, not fragile, not forgotten. You are a chosen vessel, a mighty weapon in the hand of God. Your prayers shake the heavens. Your worship confuses the enemy. Your obedience breaks chains. Yes, there's a battle, but it's not the end, it's the sign. The sign that the enemy has run out of strategies, the sign that you've outgrown the old level, the sign that you're about to step into the next dimension of your purpose. What you're fighting now, you won't fight forever. What's testing you now will soon testify for you. The pain will become power, the wounds will become weapons, and the trial will become your testimony. But not if you give up. The enemy would love nothing more than to make you stop just short of your breakthrough, to quit while you're inches from the open door, to silence your roar when you were born to shout, to tame your fire when you were meant to ignite others. But you're not backing down. You've come too far. You've cried too many tears. You've stood through too many storms to bow now. So lift your head, grip your sword, clothe yourself in praise. This is not your breakdown. It's your breakthrough in the battle. It's only the sound of destiny being born. To be chosen is an honor, but it is not without a price. Many desire the glory, but few are willing to carry the weight. The chosen are not chosen because they are better, more talented, or more popular. They are chosen because they are willing to go where others won't, to pay the cost others fear, to obey when it hurts, to walk alone if necessary, to carry the fire even in the coldest of nights. Being chosen is not a title. It's a lifestyle, a sacrifice, a separation. You don't just carry the favor, you carry the fire, and that fire will cost you comfort. It will cost you your old identity. It will cost you friendships. It will cost you opinions, popularity, sleep, applause. And sometimes it will cost you your peace for the sake of your purpose. You cannot be chosen and common at the same time. You can't move in power and still crave acceptance. You can't carry the mantle of the Spirit and still live in the flesh. The oil of the anointing doesn't come from wishing. It comes from pressing, crushing, obedience in secret, tears in silence, surrender in the wilderness. If you've been crying out for more of God, understand this. More of Him will always require less of you. The cost of being chosen means letting go of everything that competes with his voice. It means saying, "Yes, Lord," even when it means saying no to yourself. It means trusting him when he says walk, even when he doesn't show you where the road ends. Look at the lives of those God used greatly. None of them were exempt from the cost. Abraham was called to leave everything familiar, his home, his people, his land, without knowing where he was going. Why? Because chosen people walk by faith, not by comfort. Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness before stepping into his purpose. Why? Because chosen people must first be stripped before they can lead. Joseph endured betrayal, false accusation, and prison. Why? Because chosen people must first be broken before they can rule with integrity. And Jesus, he was chosen before the foundation of the world. Yet he walked the road of sorrows, he carried the weight of the world, he was despised, rejected, mocked, crucified, because being chosen does not exempt you from suffering. It gives meaning to it. God never calls without cost. He never anoints without crushing. He never elevates without purifying. So if you are in a season of stripping, solitude, or struggle, do not run from it. It may just be the clearest evidence that you are chosen. Heaven is not punishing you. It's preparing you. The fire is not there to destroy you. It's refining you. You are being trusted with trials because you are being entrusted with a mantle. There are things you will have to walk through alone, not because no one cares, but because not everyone is qualified to carry what you carry. Some people can't go where you're going. They love you, but they don't carry the same burden. They mean well, but they weren't given your blueprint. The chosen must learn how to walk with God when there's no crowd. You must learn how to encourage yourself in the Lord when no one is clapping. You must learn how to say yes to God when it means saying no to your own desires. The cost is real, but so is the calling. The price is high, but so is the reward. What God is building in you is not shallow, it's not seasonal, it's not fragile, it's eternal, but you must be willing to endure the process. The breaking, the waiting, the purging. You cannot carry new wine in old wineskins. You cannot carry glory with a divided heart. The chosen are not perfect, but they are set apart. They live consecrated. They walk with discernment. They obey even when they don't understand. And that obedience, that radical, burning, relentless obedience, is what unlocks supernatural favor. It's what makes you a lightning rod for God's power. But there will be nights when it costs you everything, when your yes to God feels like a no to every other thing your flesh craves, when he asks for what you love most, when he says, lay it down, and doesn't tell you if he'll give it back. But trust this, God never asks for something unless he plans to give you something greater in return. The cost of being chosen is not loss, it's investment. It may look like death, but it's the soil for resurrection. That's why Jesus said, unless a grain of wheat falls into the ground and dies, it remains alone, but if it dies, it bears much fruit. John 12:24. To be chosen means you must die to yourself, to your need to be liked, to your plans, to your fears, to your timeline, to your way, because only then can the resurrection power of God flow through you. You will not look like others. You will not be understood by many. You will not be able to live casually or compromise freely. Because chosen vessels carry holy things, and what is holy must be protected. So God will begin to refine your circle. He will shut doors. He will say no. He will pull you away from what's good to prepare you for what's God. And when you feel the weight of that isolation, remind yourself, this is the cost of being chosen. This is what it means to be marked by God. This is what it looks like to carry something sacred. You're not going through all this for nothing. You're not sacrificing for no reason. There is purpose in the pain, glory in the groaning, fire in the furnace, and joy. Yes, joy on the other side. Don't look at the cost and shrink back. Look at the cost and rise up. Look at the cross, look at the scars, look at the tomb that is now empty, and remember, being chosen doesn't mean your life is easier. It means your life is empowered. It means every battle has a purpose. Every step has been ordered and every sacrifice will be honored. So don't envy the crowd. Don't trade your crown for comfort. Don't let go of your fire to fit in with the familiar. You were not chosen to blend in. You were chosen to stand out. To shift atmospheres, to carry the glory, to break chains, to lead generations, to be a voice in the wilderness. The cost is great, but the calling is greater. And if you endure, if you stay faithful, if you hold the line, you will see the reward. Not just in eternity, but here in this life, because God honors the ones who honor him. He backs the ones who say yes. He raises up those who bow down in surrender. You may not be perfect, but you are chosen. And that is more than enough. June 11 is not just a date on the calendar. It's a divine appointment, a moment set in motion before you were born. Before you were formed in the womb, heaven marked this day. Not for hype, not for emotion, but for manifestation. What's coming is not random, it's orchestrated, not manufactured, it's prophetic. This is not just a day, it's a shift, a release, a revealing, a breakthrough long prophesied and now arriving. God doesn't move by human clocks, he moves by kairos, divine timing, the kind of time where destiny invades the natural, where things shift in a moment that would have taken years in your own strength. And when God says now, no demon in hell can delay it. June 11 carries a weight and not everyone will understand it. That's because not everyone was assigned to it. But if your spirit has been stirred, if you've felt the pull, the preparation, the pressure, it's because you are one of the chosen ones being aligned for what heaven is about to do. God has been working behind the scenes, silently, strategically, separating you, stretching you, stripping you, and it has not been for your destruction. It has been for your activation. You've walked through fires others couldn't survive. You've endured storms that tried to bury you. You've watched doors close, people walk, and plans fall apart. Not because you were forgotten, but because you were being positioned for this. There comes a point in every chosen person's journey where preparation meets appointment, where obscurity gives way to unveiling, where the private victories become the public mantle. That point has a name. And for you, that name is June 11. It's the day where prayers collide with fulfillment, where fasting meets fire, where your hidden faith becomes heaven's platform, and make no mistake, this is not just about you. This is generational. What you step into will shake atmospheres, break cycles, and shift bloodlines. You are carrying the weight of answered prayers from your ancestors. You are walking through doors they never lived long enough to enter. This is a moment of convergence, and it demands your full attention. You cannot step into destiny with divided focus. You cannot access a new realm with an old mindset. You must be fully present, fully surrendered, fully expectant, because God is not dropping a blessing. He's commissioning an assignment. This is about more than elevation. This is about entrustment. Heaven is trusting you with territory, with revelation, with influence, with fire. But the oil only flows for those who are ready. You must be ready in your spirit, ready in your mind, ready in your posture, because if June 11 arrives and you are still entertaining old habits, old circles, old doubts, you'll miss what has your name on it. And it won't be because God withheld it. It will be because you were not willing to leave the shore when he said launch. There's a reason the warfare increased. There's a reason the silence got louder. There's a reason the distractions came in waves. It was all about this moment, because the enemy always attacks what he fears. He fears your next level. He fears the doors opening. He fears your voice rising. He fears the moment you believe that you are truly who God says you are. So he tried to wear you out, make you quit, make you question the promise, but what the enemy meant for evil, God is using for fire. You're not stepping into June 11 timid. You're stepping in anointed. You're stepping in scarred but seasoned. tested but trusted, broken but unshakable, because what you've walked through has produced something weighty, something holy, and when God marks a day, when He sets it apart, you don't just stumble into it, you rise into it. This isn't the time to shrink back. This isn't the time to second guess. This is the time to move. To prophesy, to declare, to stand, because heaven responds to bold faith, not passive waiting, not hesitant obedience, but radical, burning soul, without expectation, the kind of faith that says, God, I don't see it yet, but I'm ready. I don't understand it fully, but I trust you completely. That kind of faith moves mountains, it moves angels, it moves timelines, and it moves you into your assignment. June 11 is not the end of your preparation. It's the beginning of your release. It's when mantles fall. When vision sharpens, when what was blurry becomes blazing. But the key is you must perceive it. You must recognize the hour, because the enemy would love for you to treat it like just another day, to let it come and go with no expectation. No posture, no fire. Don't let that happen. Get in position. Clear the noise. Shut the door. Seek the Lord, because when destiny knocks, you don't get ready. You must already be ready. This is not a microwave miracle. This is a birth moment, birthed through obedience, through prayer, through tears, through consecration. You've been walking with a limp like Jacob, wrestling with God in the night, but dawn is coming. And with it, your new name, your new authority, your new territory. Don't waste it. Don't underestimate it. Don't miss it. This is your moment to rise, to walk into the fire and not be burned, to step into the storm and still have peace, to take hold of what you've only seen in dreams, because the day has come. June 11 is not about a stage, it's about a summons. You've been summoned by heaven, summoned to break cycles, summoned to shift atmospheres, summoned to move mountains, summoned to lead, to build, to speak, to shake. The earth is groaning for the manifestation of the sons and daughters of God, and the wait is over. June 11 is not just a date, it's your activation. So lift your eyes, strengthen your hands, raise your voice, and get ready, because what's coming has been coming for a long time, and now it's here.